Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video where I channel someone. I don't know who yet, we're gonna find out. You guys probably already know because I put it in the description. But today we're going to be doing a channel on fear. There's a large amount of fear that's happening right now. And I'm not talking about necessarily people that are wanting to fight back. That isn't fear, that's a boundary. So we're just talking about when you're feeling fear. And I believe it's at an all-time high right now. That is large part due to the fact that we're in a chaotic time frame. Chaos energy is absolutely through the roof. So it's inevitable that you're going to feel fear. It's inevitable that you're going to be fearful of something, whether it's something specific that's happening in your life, or if it's something that's happening globally, or if it's something that's happening in your specific country or your specific area. It's all the same, right? The reason that we're feeling so much fear right now is because there's a lot of unknown. Things are getting tossed up into the air and we don't know how they're going to come back down again. So I wanted to do a channel from some spirit guide, whoever wants to answer this question. What do we do about the fear? How do we help ourselves through this fear? And when will it end? And I think those are some more important points. Hopefully that will be touched on today. So that is what we're going to do. Hold on, let me plug it in. I forgot to plug it in. There we go. There we go. Okay. There's some spirit guides that I'm hoping for, but we'll see who comes through. Feels like there's a lot of spirit guides that want to answer this call or can answer the call. So I don't know. I think that the point of that is that it doesn't really matter who you talk to. It doesn't really matter who you try to contact about this. If you're trying to contact a specific energy or spirit guide, if it's simply your higher self or the universe in general, I think that's fine too. It's a big subject and it's especially difficult to deal with. And it's definitely a common theme in human life in general. So I don't think there's any specific spirit guide that would be best for this. But I'm talking, I feel like the direction that I really want to go with this is more in relation to the specific chaos energy that's happening right now globally. And how do we deal with that? In reference to fear, because fear is paralyzing, keeps us from being able to live our lives. So please, somebody that can speak directly to the chaos energy and the fear around that. Okay. So I feel like there might be a few that want to come through today for us. So first, that's seemingly coming through for me right now is God of Mischief. And I think some people might identify him as Loki, but it feels that this energy is a little bit more expansive than that. So keep that in mind. Mischief. Such an interesting word to use, mischief. Has quite a negative connotation to it, doesn't it? Feels illegal. But what is illegal? What is mischief? What is right and wrong? There is a level of mischief that could harm others. And of course, minimizing that is always a noble focus, intention. But it is not always possible when you are including a healthy dose of mischief. And more deeply, we are talking about chaos. Some people associate chaos with mischief, and that isn't always true. It is only sometimes true. For chaos energy is a game changer. It will completely transform your life if you allow it to do so. Many people are focused on protecting others from their decisions, therefore keeping themselves out of their own specific alignment. It isn't your job to protect other people from you. No. It is your job to live well, might I add. But many times we want to keep those we love close to us, and it keeps us from making decisions that we must make for ourselves. When chaos energy is at such a high pitch as it is now, it becomes much more difficult to, quote, protect others from you, from your decisions. It is better to let yourself lean into it. Ride the adventure, for that is what is happening now. Can you not see it? The pure adventure that is here awaiting you. Everything is changing. Everything is shifting. And yes, that can be frightening, of course, especially when you are attached so deeply to things that must transform. We are not meant to live normal, boring lives here. Earth is a magical, wonderful place that is built for creativity, that is built for invention on a large scale and all the way down to the smallest scale. Meaning, every decision you make is meant to be a creative expression or an invention of your life. And when chaos energy is present, it makes that so much easier. The transformations that are happening in your world are happening so quickly and easily. It feels hard because you're holding on. It feels difficult because you don't want to let go. But if you could shift your perspective into the future, the possibilities of the future that is at hand, the magnitude that is coming to you of greatness, of magic, of joy, is not one that you could measure or imagine even. You could try, and I encourage you to try. But inside chaos energy, it is very difficult to determine what will happen. But you will see many possibilities, along with those very positive, adventurous, amazing possibilities of a new existence that is conducive to individuality and creativity and invention. There are some that seem more restrictive than you are even experiencing now. And by focusing there in hopes of not creating it, well, you inadvertently do create it in your own mind, in your own experience. There are a great many people in this world that are experiencing a very different life and world than those that are attached to fear for safety. Those people are focused on their own creative expression and invention. Those people are leaning into chaos. And yes, they are experiencing fear to a degree, of course. It is inevitable in such an unknown. But the focus is on the best possibilities. You could land anywhere. The chaos tears up what you have had before and tosses it into the air. Where will it land? It's up to you. It is up to you where that will land. During this time, you will be encountering hard truths. You will need to face false belief that has been so ingrained for such a long time. And you will feel afraid to do so. For what does that mean? How will you need to shift and change? Will it be uncomfortable? Will it be long term? Will it take a short time? Will I be stuck in this forever? These are inevitable questions. And the chaos energy is short, relatively to the rest of time, of course. But it is not something for you to worry about. Time is irrelevant. It shifts, it changes. It is not linear as you all seem to think that it is. For some, the last 6 months have been an eternity. For others, you are questioning how it is a season change yet again. There is no right or wrong here. There simply is and is not. I fear that my words today have not solved much for you, unfortunately. except to maybe help you understand that this experience is good in nature, that this is not an evil design to create chaos in your world needlessly. Think about your own life. And any time that chaos energy has been introduced, your life has been turned upside down. A short time thereafter, didn't things start to make sense to you? Didn't you start to see a new path forming for yourself? One that is much better than the one you were on previously? Your entire world is experiencing just that now. And the best thing for you to do on an individual level is to focus on things that bring you joy, things that spark and encourage creativity, and especially invention in your life. What are you doing now? And it does not have to be monumental. It can be small. Something like inventing a new way of exercising, or a new meal routine, or simply deciding to go outside for 5 minutes a day as often as possible. These are great inventions in your life if they feel right for you. Your body knows the way. Trust it. Listen to it. It will tell you if you're on the right path by how you feel. Pay attention, especially now. Fear is inevitable, of course, but it is not everlasting. Choose to surrender now, not to what is happening to you, but to the tide of change, and choose what you will and will not experience going forward. Choose things that are actually in your best and highest good above all else. This journey is just starting to get interesting. It has been painful up until now, yes? But when the pain subsides and you finally surrender to the shifting tides, that's when you start to see wonders. That's when you see the true possibilities of this current energy in your specific life. Don't worry about what others are doing. They are following their alignment. For some, it is to fight because they have been complacent for such a long time, and that is a good thing. And for some, it is taking care of yourself in a way that you never have before, focusing on the self rather than the others. For some, it is focusing on creations outside of social issues. Whatever it is good. Follow it. Do not feel guilty for not participating in large groups of people who are fighting currently. If it is right for you, you will do it. Simply follow your alignment. Follow what feels good. And don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about what others are thinking. That's when you get off course and you start to feel terrible. That's a foothold for fear. What if I am choosing wrong? This chaos energy is so short term. What if I am choosing something that is not pointing me in the right direction? Well, that is impossible. Wherever you land is where you land. Once you land, you may then point yourself in a direction that feels better and more comfortable to you. Some people will simply need to self-soothe through this chaos energy, and that is perfectly all right as well. Listen to your own truth. Follow your own truth. That's what this energy is here for. It is teaching you how to truly take care of yourself and all of the things that that means for you specifically. You will find yourself aligned with others, yes, of course. But it doesn't mean that you must follow what they are doing exactly, precisely, no. It just means that you're having a very similar experience. And you can find solace in that camaraderie. But do not force yourself into a lane that is not yours. Instead, focus within. Find your own lane. It may be similar, but it will not be exactly the same. And in that you will have peace. And I love you, my dears. Ooh, that was very interesting. So there was something that he showed me that I don't know that he touched on a lot in that, which was this feeling of adventure that's happening right now. It's kind of breaking up the calcified parts of our existence and infusing us with life. And I think a lot of times people are fearful because they don't know if they're going to be safe. But if you do as like he suggested and kind of focus in on your own experience, your own path, what truly is right for you, that is in and of itself security. Being aligned with you above all. No one can actually take your peace from you unless you give it. So pay attention to what you're focused on. Are you watching the news? Are you listening to other people become upset? What is that doing to you? Right? Some people will hear that, see that, listen to that, and become motivated to do something that feels right in their heart, right? And that's wonderful, but that isn't everyone. Some people will hear that and it will make them even more afraid. That's your indication that that is not an aligned experience for you. So you will need to allow yourself to let go of that and focus in an area that is more aligned. Maybe you need to start creating stricter boundaries. And that's why listening to those things feels so triggering to you, because you're not affording yourself those boundaries, right? Maybe you have been wanting to be creative and you're feeling stir crazy in a sense, and you're not sure where that's coming from or why it's here, and it's because you're meant to create something, you know. And you could be feeling all of these things, honestly. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're only feeling one specific thing. So pay attention to how you feel in your daily life right now, and try to find out what that means for you. What is your body trying to tell you? Is this feeling of alignment or is this feeling of misalignment? personally, when I look at the chaos energy that's happening right now, the availability of adventure currently, right now, is so high. You don't have to hook yourself into that energy. You don't have to choose that energy. You can stay secluded from it. And of course, adventure means something different for everyone. But as a whole, for our planet, there is a major shift happening right now. And I only see good things for us. But it must come after a time of upset. Because when you have an upset, it forces you to see what you've been choosing to participate in that is not in alignment with you. And humanity in general has been participating in some things that really are not in alignment with our path as a whole. And those things are coming to light to be made a decision of. The time where upset and information coming to light, I believe, is short. We've been going through it for quite a few years now, and it kind of is making a crescendo right now. It feels as though this year is the peak of that. And in 2026, and especially 2027, you're going to see more of that. I'll say this, if you've ever been in a relationship where you have been allowing certain behaviors, maybe some things that you've turned a blind eye to, and then something happens where you can no longer stick your head in the sand, you must face all of the behaviors that you were turning a blind eye to. And then you end up seeing even more things that you didn't even know were there. And it's very upsetting, very, very upsetting. And it feels like your whole world is flipping upside down. What am I going to do now? How am I going to handle this? That's a very scary situation. But then there's a point where the upset has diminished. There is nothing left for you to find out about to help you make a decision. Even if there are things that exist that are under the cover, it doesn't necessarily matter, because now you know what you're going to do. You're going to leave, right? You're going to stop participating in a relationship with that person. And there's a point in time where things shift from upsetting into powerful. You start feeling more powerful. You start feeling more empowered into creative expression and the adventure that lies before you. The pure potential of what could happen, which is anything. That's what we have to look forward to as a world, as a planet, as a human race. So I hope that this channel has helped to clarify some things, especially about this chaos energy. I hope that the guidance finds you and brings you some peace, or hopefully an opportunity to focus on direction. And if you have any questions or comments about this, please feel free to put them in the comments. I would love to respond to anything that you are thinking about this, any takes that you may have on this as well. I'd love to have that conversation. And of course, if you have liked this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one.